Sans screamed as he sat up in bed, skull dripping and eye glowing a bright blue. Had it been another nightmare or had it been real? It was so hard to tell sometimes. He sat in his bed for a few moments, the house still and silent, until broken by the thudding footsteps coming up the stairs. A fist pounded on the door. "Sans, I heard you yell. Are you all right?" Papyrus's voice was impossible not to recognize, were it dripping of every word. "Yeah, I'm okay." Sans took a few deep breaths and forced himself out of bed and towards the door for the sake of his brother. He unlocked it and cracked it open, the look on Papyrus's face saying enough on how he must have looked. Papyrus stared at him in alarm, which soon turned into the deep concern. "Sans, you look terrible. Did you have another bad dream?" The two glowing white dots in Sans's eye sockets dimmed a little as he looked away and off into the darkness of his room behind him. "Yeah, but I'm fine. You don't have to worry." Papyrus didn't look convinced. "No, serious. I'm okay. Just a bad dream. I have them all the time, Pep. There isn't anything either of us can do about it. So don't worry, alright?" Sans forced on that same mild smile as always and shrugged, trying to make light of the situation so his brother would forget about it. Fine. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But you're going to be late for your post. I've made a breakfast." Papyrus started to walk away, getting to the top of the stairs before turning to look back at his brother, slumped against the door frame. "Eat something and wash up before you leave. I'm going to recalibrate my puzzles." Sans nodded. "I will. Don't worry about me. You know I'll just catch up on those Z's at my station anyway." He winked at Papyrus, but his brother didn't get angry or roll his eyes, merely sighing and heading out the door after reaching the bottom of the steps. Once he was gone, Sans' grin fell, and more of his weight leaned against the door frame. Today was going to be one of those days where he couldn't lie convincingly, he realized. He hated it when Papyrus worried about him. He didn't want his little brother to worry about anything ever, especially not him. It took more effort than usual to finally start moving. Sans shoved on his coat and slippers before paddling down the stairs. He stopped in front of the fridge and opened it, staring inside at the containers of spaghetti and leftovers from Grillby's. Nothing looked worth eating. Before he knew it, his head was resting against the freezer, eyes blankly staring into the dim light of the fridge for much longer than he meant to. He could have stood there all day without moving, he thought, but he had to move a little, or Papyrus would really start to worry. Sighing, he closed the fridge and turned on his heel, the air dispersing around him as he teleported to his post just outside the ruins. He slumped in his chair and propped his feet up on the counter. The day shaped up to be the same as a lot of others. Sans sat at his post for a while before going to Grillby's, then checking up on Papyrus, going to a few of his other posts in the underground, then right back to Grillby's. It was a predictable existence, but it was welcome. It was starting to get late, but Sans was beginning to feel back into the groove of pretending everything was okay. No one at Grillby's could tell anything was wrong with all those jokes he was cracking. That was good. He didn't want any of his friends to worry. Things were going well until one of the guards shoved open the door a little too hard, startling everyone to turn their way. They rushed over to the group of dogs sat around their usual table and hurriedly whispered something to them. A moment later, they all got up, grabbing their weapons, before rushing out the door. The jovial mood of the bar suddenly turned sour. Hushed whispers began, speculating what was happening. What was that all about? Do you think it's an emergency? A human, maybe. I heard them say something about vines, or flower or something. What's up with that? Sans had been silent through the entire exchange, at least until that point. The bottle of ketchup heading towards his mouth stopped, and he slowly turned to face the monster who had spoken last. "Did you say flower?" Something deep in his skull twitched. Déjà vu? Memories he didn't know he had, trickled back slowly, his eye sockets going dim. He must have been sitting there as still as the dead for a few minutes, because it was enough to get Grilby to actually talk. "Sans." The voice was soft, but crackled like the fire Grilby was made out of. It was so rarely heard, even for Sans, that it startled him into looking up. "Yeah, sorry. Slipped away for a moment there." He stared at Grilby, somehow able to read his otherwise emotionless face rather well. They had known each other for so long, it had become easy. He could tell he was worried. "If something is going on, I better go check on Pep." Sans slipped off the stool, his slippers landing on the wooden floor. Everything went black.